To improve is to change.
Yes, but to change often is to be perfect. Did I
so
say
they
that?
say.
Therefore, the mortgage and real estate industry should be this close to being perfect now.
They got this.
Hello, my name is Barry Horvath, and this is Moving Forward TV, your local market update. So if you don't change direction, you may wind up exactly where you're heading.
Yet another Barry is write that one down. And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thanks for joining us today. In today's show, we are talking about the CFPB and the new rule, the new rule that has just come down. I know we've been talking about it a little bit here and there. Some of the changes that are coming to the industry, you guys have all heard about it and everything. The 1,099 page rule.
You're really struggling. It's the know before you owe rule is what she's trying to tell you. From the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is the funded by fines company division appointed per the Dodd-Frank Act.
Have such job security. You know?
They do.
They're just gonna
create a fine, you get a raise. Okay, so that's what they do. They actually go out. They're looking to fine the industry for mistakes and violations out there.
But you know, as much of a hard time as we give the CFPB all the time and all the changes that are going on and everything, they really are there to help the consumer. And I think underneath it all, like this one they've been working on for 2.5 years.
Is that all?
Yeah. and it was just released like what, last week? I think a couple days ago or whatever.
Actually, November 20th was the exact release.
1,099 pages that we've condensed for you.
And we got all of it right here for your easy reading, right in the, where is it?
Suitcase.
In the suitcase down below.
Okay, so what is the CFPB talking about, this new rule that they've just put out? Really,
tell us, DeLynn, what is the CFPB talking about?
It really has three kind of parts to it. One, they wanted to better consumer understanding of the mortgage business, and let's face it, is this the 3 licks of the lollipop again?
Yes. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Real estate forms, I'm just ignoring you. Real estate forms and mortgage forms have been very confusing. For 100 years, they've been very confusing. So this is a better understanding of that. Better comparison shopping and fewer surprises at the closing table, or 0 surprises at the closing table. That was the whole goal.
I'm not saying nothing. This is your show, DeLynn.
And what this new rule is, the know before you owe.
Can I help you out with this rule?
Yes.
All right, what DeLynn is really trying to tell you is it takes 3 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll. Never mind.
Should I start like
badgering
you now?
This is the truth of the matter. For 30 years, the lending industry has had to disclose that 3 days after they take an application to a consumer, what they're going to pay, what are the fees, what are the costs, what are the settlement charges.
Total transaction and cost in buying a house.
Now, this is the part that people in the industry may or may not like that may actually shock you. Wait.
Ow!
You now are going to get a lending package, and 3 days after that, it's going to be allowed to close. Now, here's the big challenge on that. If anything changes in that lending package, the 3 days resets.
Right.
So if you're closing on Tuesday, that means that the borrower must have the package the prior Friday or Thursday, depending if they're going to count Saturday. This we don't know.
Right. There's definitely still some holes in it and things that they're trying to iron out, but it is definitely moving in a positive direction. Now, just keep in mind the biggest part that we really want to stress to everyone is, and we agree as well, that people should have time to read their closing statement, their HUD. We totally 100% agree with that. Everybody knows a lot of times the HUD is getting their day of closing, day before closing, something like that, and people aren't having enough time. And it always seems to be a last minute push and a last minute rush. It doesn't mean that mortgage processing is going to get faster. No.
Why?
No, it doesn't. Just keep that in mind. The processing times and all of the verifications that have to be done still will have to be done. So it basically means that closings are just going to be extended out a little bit. So everybody needs to get into their mindset, get ready, because it's going to take a little bit longer to close things. Instead of taking the normal 30 to 45 days, we might be looking at 45 to 60.
Every time you say something, like a song goes in my head, and I don't know what it is, but it just makes me crazy. Okay, here's what's going to change. the new loan estimate form, the closing disclosure form, which you keep saying the word HUD. I think the word HUD is going to go away as we know it, and they're now going to call that the closing disclosure.
Actually, you're right.
And then they are also going to have a Spanish language version now as a disclosure. That's part of the new requirement. Now, the loan types that are not going to apply, I know this will shock you again. Did I shock you yet?
Yes.
I need to rub on the carpet here. Home equity lines will be exempt from this. Reverse mortgages will be exempt from this. And you're going to love this, DeLynn. Mobile homes or dwellings not attached to land. So
the ones floating in a cloud?
Yeah, those are the ones.
And I wanted to mention
houses.
the cloud houses. And I wanted to mention, a lot did go into this. Like I started to say before, we really do tease the CFPB quite a bit, but a lot went into this. And there is some good. They've been working on this for 2.5 years. It started in.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. We're going to tease the industry that is fully funded by fines. Okay.
Stop.
That's a great idea, DeLynn.
They did 10 rounds in 9 cities of quantitative testing on the prototypes for this proposal before introducing it. 27,000 individual comments on the prototypes, nearly 3,000 public comments on the proposed forms, and additional testing and tweaking for several weeks and comments. Over 850 consumers in 20 locations across the country tested on these forms. These final forms are being released now, like we said, like a week ago or so. Implementation, not just yet. Everybody has to get their systems in place and everything, but really a lot has gone into it, and we really do hope it is much, much easier. In fact, some of the early testing results are. Don't you have the early testing results over there?
No, the bottom line is we have no early. The bottom line is the whole idea, the whole ruling is to avoid surprises at the closing table.
Right.
That's really what they're doing on all this. So, and it's going to give consumers more time to consider and make choices. And basically, it's going to limit closing cost increases at the table. That's the bottom line. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to
in all the testing, it really has come out much, much better. We have down below here PDF copies of what the new forms are going to look like. If you guys haven't seen them already, take a peek. The initial disclosure, that's the other thing they're going to do is they're going to make them look a lot more similar.
Yes.
And that tested very positively.
I know you want me to give stats, so I'm going to give them now. So
you wanted the stats.
All right, I'm a stat man. What can I tell you? All right. Basically, they on this 2.5-year analysis testing period that they did all across the industry, basically they showed a 12% improvement for consumers understanding exactly how interest rate could increase after closing, 32% improvement identifying negative amortization features, which
don't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But in case they come back.
Yeah, in case they come back. Okay, right. Okay, we'll wait up. They're going to break down the short-term and long-term costs. They say that we'll have a 62% overall improvement understanding the final loan officer and a 75% improvement identifying the loan amount.
Right.
Like you don't know what your loan amount's going to be.
But surprisingly enough, it was very confusing to people.
You're right. And a 75% improvement identifying the total cash required to close the loan.
And their payments, and huge in identifying their payment and what their total payment is going to be.
I think it's going to be.
Those of us in the industry, find it kind of hard to believe that people weren't understanding that, but apparently there was a lot less understanding out there than
it'll be black and white. That's
it's going to be crystal clear.
It's going to be easier.
Okay, as always, we will get this information to you guys as we learn more about it and the changes and all of that stuff. That being said, this is our show, share all that stuff. But before we go, we do want to mention something very special to us. If we can kind of step outside of the mortgage and real estate world for a minute.
Yeah, let's just talk about our community and what we try to do. And a lot of us are, it's the holidays now, and many of us are fortunate and been blessed. And we do an annual Grinch event, which this year will be at Seven Springs Country Club on December 6th. It's a fundraiser.
We call it the Grinch because the Grinch who saved Christmas.
Yes. In fact, next week maybe I'll wear my Grinch face. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, we have 2 families we're reaching out to this year. We really want to help out. One, both compelling stories. One, a single mom, cancer, raising 3 children on her own, barely can make ends meet, and she's battling it every day. The other one had an accident on a four-wheeler ATV and was basically in intensive care.
Right.
Struggling, fighting for his own life. While he was in the hospital intensive care, his wife passed away and has a heart attack. And again, they had 2 teenagers. Now he can't work, he's been discharged. Imagine coming back to the world and your spouse is no longer there.
Right.
So, I mean, it's sad, but we want to do some things to help out. We do this fundraiser. It's a lot of fun. It's a great event. If you go on WPBA.biz online, you can buy tickets, you can make a donation. All the proceeds will go to these 2 families this year. It's our give back to the community. So
we have a PDF on that down here as well. Please take
it's www.wpba.biz for West Pasco Business Association. So get our show out, share it, like it, Twitter, Facebook. We love you guys.
Thanks, guys. See you next week. We are today and every day.
Moving forward.
Bye-bye.